Welcome to my channel Accounts Accuracy, and let's see the two most important questions which must be practiced by you before your November 2020 board exam. This is one of the questions which makes you perfect for facing such type of questions which could be asked in your upcoming board exam. So in this question you can see XYZ were sharing profit and losses in the ratio 5:3:2, whereas their new ratio is 2:3:5. So it has changed. And apart from that, here you can see land and building, plant and machinery, trade creditor, outstanding rent, these all are provided with their book values along with that revised value. So that means there is a change in all the values of assets and liabilities, but still it has to be settled down just by passing a journal entry. And you have to choose out of these four options that which option is correct. So for that, what you need to do, you will have to make a rough revaluation account. Here you can see land and building value has increased. So that's why as it's been increased, it will appear at the credit side of the revaluation account. So we will write land and building 1,50,000. Again, plant and machinery value has got decreased. So that's why it should be shown at the debit side of your revaluation account because decrease in asset. Again, trade creditor value has decreased. So this is liability and that's why it has to be shown at credit side of revaluation account because it's a decrease in the value of liability. Again, the last one is outstanding rent. The value has increased. So liability is increasing. It must be shown at the debit side of revaluation account. All the increase in the value of asset and decrease in the value of liability we show at credit side, whereas decrease in the value of asset and increase in liability we show at the debit side of revaluation account. After placing all these amounts, the differences, we will be finding out the balancing figure which is coming 90,000. So the divisible profit for XYZ is 90,000. Now the next thing is that there is a change in the profit and loss ratio and we need to find out the sacrificing and the gaining ratio here. So when from the old ratio we will deduct the new ratio, we will get the sacrificing ratio, and from the new ratio when we will deduct the old ratio we will get the gaining ratio. So that's why when we will do so, we are getting 3/10 which has been sacrificed by X, whereas Z is going to get 3/10, the same amount. By seeing here also, it's been clear that the ratio hasn't changed for Y, but it has, whereas for X and Z it has been changed. So the amount which X is sacrificing, Z is gaining. So that's why we need to find out that what amount exactly 3/10th portion is of 90,000. So when we will be calculating 3/10th portion of 90,000, it's coming 27,000. So it's clear that this 27,000 will be given by X to Z as the profit sharing ratio has changed. So that's why X sacrifice will become Z's gain. So that's why 3/10th share which X will sacrifice will be gained by Z 3/10th portion. The same amount 27,000. So your entry should be Z is gaining whereas X is sacrificing. So Z's capital account to X's capital account 27,000. So the correct entry will be Z's capital account debit and credit X's capital account with 27,000. Now let's see the next question, which is also a little difficult if you will not face it before exam. So you must practice this type of sum also before your exam. This question says ABC are partners sharing profits in the ratio 5:3:2. They decide to share future profit in the ratio 2:3:5. So here what you are noticing, for Y the ratio has not changed but it has changed for X and Z. For B the ratio hasn't changed But for A and B, it has changed. A's ratio and B's ratio has got changed. So similarly, you will find out the sacrificing and the gaining ratio for A and C. 5 plus 3 plus 2, that is 10. 5 by 10th portion has changed as 2 by 10th portion for A, whereas 2 by 10th portion of C has changed to 5 by 10th portion of the profit for C. So that you need to find out. Apart from that, as it's profit and loss, general reserve and advertising suspense, so that's why first of all we need to make the journal entry. Now here what we need to do, we have to debit asset and credit liabilities, and as nothing is written beside profit and loss account, whether it's a debit or credit balance, so that's why it will be considered as liability, and we will credit profit and loss account and general reserve because both are liabilities. When we will do the entry after that, we need to see that whether debit and credit side is coming same or not, because debit and credit amount must be similar. But what we are noticing, that debit amount is only 30,000 whereas credit amount is 75,000. So that's why there is a deficiency of 45,000 at the debit side, and that is the balancing figure which will become goodwill. If the same thing happens with credit side, that means when we get deficiency at credit side, we consider that as capital reserve. But here as the debit side is less, so that's why it is goodwill. Now as goodwill is an asset that must be divided among the partners, but as there is no change in the ratio of B, so that's why it will only be divided among A and C, because A and C's value of profit sharing ratio has only changed. So that's why what we will do, we will find out the sacrificing and gaining ratio. As A is sacrificing and C is gaining, we will provide this 3 by 10th portion of goodwill value, that is 45,000, to C, and A is going to sacrifice the same. So 3 by 10th portion of 45,000 is coming 13,500, which will be sacrificed by A to C. So our journal entry is C is gaining, debit the receiver and credit the giver. So C's capital account to A's capital account, and your correct option is debit C's capital account to credit and credit A's capital account with 13,500. I hope this sum you might have understood. Please don't forget to subscribe my channel and hit the big fat like button. Thanks for watching.